Over the past 10 years, Jerry and I have been doing FIRE, and we didn't even know we were doing FIRE. FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. We really want to change the retire early to recreational employment. We want to make sure that we're still doing things that we have a passion for. One of the misconceptions about FIRE is that folks think that FIRE is about getting rich. But it's not. It's really understanding how much you will need in the future so you can be comfortable to retire, that you can do the things that you want when you want.
I'm looking forward to retiring early. I want to enjoy my second phase of life while I still have energy and all my facilities to actually enjoy. I don't want to be bedridden or be so old that I can't actually go outside and do some random crazy stuff.
As we discovered that we were doing FIRE and had conversations with each other to make a decision that this was something that we're going to continue to pursue, we needed to understand what kind of FIRE we were really talking about. We did a lot of research and we found out there's many versions of FIRE. That's one of the reasons that we decided to change the RE from retire early to recreational employment, because we knew that we needed to find something else to do. We are going to really be talking about the 4 types of FIRE, but also how you can achieve one of those FIREs if one suits you. There are 2 major mainstream ways that you can achieve FIRE. So the rule of 25 states that any person could look into the future and project what their potential spending could be. We're going to use an example of $50,000. With the rule of 25, you will multiply $50,000 times 25 for the years. That would equal out to approximately $1.2 million. That says that when you are retiring, you could spend down that $1.2 million and potentially not run out.
It's pretty simple.
It's simple, but do you think it really takes into consideration inflation?
Not inflation.
I think that's one of the biggest arguments that I've had against that one, even now as we look at our own retirement plans. When we look back at the rule of 25, it's missing a few things that I think should be a concern to everyone as they're making this type of planning. And the concern is
not every single year is going to be the same. You're not doing the exact same thing every year. One year you're going to be taking a big trip. Other years you could have a medical expenses.
So that rule of 25, although great on paper, might need a lot of discovery as you're progressing to save money. The second rule to budgeting for retirement is going to be the 4% rule. This rule was created back in 1994, a gentleman called Bill Bengen, and we call it the Bengen 4% rule.
Yes, and this 4% rule is very similar to the 25-year rule, but it takes inflation in consideration. So you would take your 1.25 million portfolio again, then you multiply it by 4%, that would give you 50 grand. So that's what you would need for that first year. The second year, you find out what the inflation is. So you take your 4% and then you take whatever, say 2% inflation, you now multiply your 50 grand by the new inflation of 2%. That will give you like 51 grand. And you'll always have 50 grand in today's money.
And this does take into consideration markets. Markets go up and markets go down. So it doesn't matter if you have a bull market or a bear market, that 4% rule should hold steady and keep you going strong for 30 years.
The negative of the 4% rule is that it's based on retiring at 65 and having enough money until you're 95. So if you want to retire earlier and still live until you're 95, the probability of you still having money when you're 95 drops. So if you retire at 40, it's a very small probability that you'll actually have enough money.
So why don't we talk about the 4 types of FIRE? Lean FIRE means that you're going to be frugal. You're going to continue to be frugal until you potentially reach your $1.2 million or whatever money it is at percent, that 25-year rule that you're trying to follow. So if you're at $75,000, $100,000 per year, you're going to have to decide where that frugality is going to come into your life. And you would have to save over 35% to be able to achieve that type of savings over the next 10, 15, 20 years. And the question is, can you do it? Lean FIRE is interesting. It sounds like it's achievable. There's a lot of hurdles to get to it.
Barista FIRE. It's where people will save money now so they can work at a less stressful job, a part-time job, during retirement, like a barista or a Walgreens greeter, something random like that. So it's like zero stress, but you still get an additional paycheck. So you're not freaking out about finances.
The third option is Coast FIRE. And this is the one Jerry and I are trying to achieve. Coast still requires us, and anyone that's interested in this, is save significantly. When we say significantly, is savings of 25 to 35% over X amount of years, so that you can achieve that number that will help you be comfortable in the future. The other thing with Coast FIRE, we're really taking into account that inflation, and we are definitely shifting over to the 4% rule versus the rule of 25. It's important to note that in Coast, your job would be something that brings you back some joy and helps you give back to whatever environment you're in, the community that you're in.
And the key thing is it's the passion to work somewhere or do a job that you're very passionate in.
I agree. Do you see any negatives for the Coast version of FIRE?
Not for what we want to do.
We could be crazy and lose all our money in 15 years, and then we're going to be like back to work. All right, so we only have one more FIRE left.
Yeah, the fourth, that FIRE. The complete opposite of lean. Basically, make all your money and then you just live off the fat of the land, in luxury, retirement, do whatever you want. Hopefully you saved enough.
I think that one of the negatives about that FIRE is you would have to be pretty aggressive either on the saving, your high-paying job. You would be able to amass a high number. You could live in luxury for 30, 40, 50 years. We think that would be so stressful to get there. What do you think?
That's not something that I'm looking forward to.
You consider the 4 versions of FIRE. Which one is attractive to you, your partner, and your family, and how that's gonna propel you, understanding how much you can save. Before you commence on your FIRE journey, we're gonna leave you with 2 tips. Number 1 is talk to your financial planner. You're going to be able to do those numbers.
Number 2, save more money. It's going to add up and you'll see in the long run. And as always, happy savings.